Sometimes you get the love of your life when you're too young and you don't know how to handle it.
You've heard their voices. You've felt their heartbreak in every lyric. But what if I told you that behind the spotlight, behind the sequins and the stage lights, some of country music's most iconic women were living stories more dramatic than any song they ever sang? These are the queens of country, adored by millions, envied by many, yet haunted by betrayal, heartbreak, and secrets Nashville never wanted to talk about. From shocking affairs to love stories born out of tragedy, and from hidden heartaches to second chances no one saw coming. This is the side of fame you've never seen. And wait until you hear which beloved legend nearly lost everything to a love she could never truly have. Let's dive in, because behind every hit song, there's a story that could break your heart. Shania Twain. Betrayed by love, saved by fate. For years, Shania Twain seemed untouchable. She was the queen of crossover country, the woman who made the world sing, "Man, I feel like a woman." But behind the glitter and glory, a devastating betrayal was brewing, one that would shatter her world. For years, Shania Twain seemed untouchable. She was the queen of crossover country, the woman who made the world sing, "Man, I feel like a woman." But behind the glitter and glory, a devastating betrayal was brewing, one that would shatter her world. Shania married music producer Mutt Lange in the early 90s. Together, they built a musical empire, crafting hits that topped charts worldwide. Fans saw a fairy tale partnership, creative soulmates who shared fame, success, and love. But what the public didn't know was that this perfect picture was about to explode. In 2008, Shania discovered that Mutt had been having an affair, not with a stranger, but with Shania's best friend, Marie-Anne Thiebaud. The betrayal cut deeper than words. Her husband and her confidant, both gone, in one heartbreaking moment. The shock sent Shania into a spiral. She's since spoken about losing her voice due to the stress, battling depression, and feeling completely lost. But life had a twist even more shocking than the affair itself. As Shania grieved, she found an unexpected ally, Frederick Thiebaud, Marie-Anne's ex-husband. He'd been betrayed too. Over time, friendship turned to love, and the two married in 2011. From the ashes of heartbreak, Shania found healing, not through revenge, but through empathy. She turned her pain into strength, proving that even the deepest wounds can lead to unexpected joy. Shania's story isn't just about betrayal. It's about the kind of resilience that only true survivors have. But Shania wasn't the only star to face hidden heartbreak. Another country queen, one of the most beloved of all time, carried secrets she's never fully revealed. Dolly Parton, the legend with a hidden heartache. To the world, Dolly Parton is an icon, a woman of unmatched talent, generosity, and charm. She's been married to Carl Dean since 1966, one of the longest celebrity marriages in history. But despite the smiles and jokes about her mystery man, Dolly's love story hides more than fans might imagine. Rumors have long swirled about Dolly's emotional connections beyond her marriage, especially with two men she shared deep creative bonds with, Porter Wagoner and Kenny Rogers. Dolly and Porter had undeniable chemistry on stage, and their partnership created timeless music. But behind the scenes, their relationship was intense and often turbulent. Dolly has admitted she had to walk away before it destroyed them both, inspiring her heartbreaking farewell song, "I Will Always Love You." Years later, whispers of a deep connection with Kenny Rogers emerged, but both denied it ever turned romantic. Still, fans couldn't help but wonder. In interviews, Dolly has hinted at an affair of the heart, an emotional connection that nearly led her to make irreversible choices. She's spoken candidly about struggling with depression during that time, even contemplating ending it all. But Dolly's faith and love of music pulled her back. Despite the rumors, Dolly and Carl's bond remained strong, unconventional, private, but lasting. She often jokes that one secret to their marriage is that he stays out of the spotlight entirely. Dolly's story is a reminder that even legends carry silent struggles, and that love, in all its forms, can be both a blessing and a burden. And while Dolly kept her secrets close, another queen's heartbreak was played out in front of the entire world. Tammy Wynette, the queen of country's turbulent heart. Tammy Wynette's voice defined country heartbreak, and for good reason. Her life mirrored the very pain she sang about. She was married 5 times, but her most famous and chaotic union was with fellow country star George Jones. Their relationship was a storm, passionate, creative, but plagued by addiction, jealousy, and public fights. Fans adored them together, calling them the country's royal couple. But behind closed doors, it was a roller coaster of love and destruction. Tammy's songs, like "Stand By Your Man," became anthems of loyalty and pain. Yet in reality, she endured infidelity, violence, and heartbreak. Her later marriages fared no better. Rumors circulated of secret affairs, and by the time she passed in 1998, Tammy had weathered more emotional storms than most could bear. But through it all, she kept singing, turning her pain into art. Tammy's voice was her therapy and her curse. Some queens, though, refused to surrender to heartbreak. They kept searching for love again and again. Lorrie Morgan, 6 rings and a lifetime of lessons. If love is a gamble, Lorrie Morgan went all in 6 times. Her story is filled with passion, tragedy, and resilience. Her first marriage to Keith Whitley was a country love story, 2 rising stars deeply in love. But tragedy struck when Keith's battle with addiction ended his life far too soon. Lorrie was devastated, left to raise their son alone. In the years that followed, she remarried multiple times, each relationship bringing hope and heartbreak. Her marriages to Brad Thompson, John Randall, Sammy Kershaw, and others each ended for different reasons, from distance to infidelity to simply growing apart. Yet Lorrie never gave up on love. She's spoken openly about her belief in marriage, her faith in second chances, and her refusal to let loss define her. Even after the recent death of her husband Randy White, Lorrie remains a symbol of strength, a woman who's loved deeply and lived fully. But not every country diva believed in marriage. Some chose freedom over forever. Tanya Tucker, love on her own terms. Tanya Tucker was never one to follow rules. From her teenage stardom to her rebellious image, Tanya's love life has been just as fiery as her music. Her most famous relationship was with fellow legend Glenn Campbell, a passionate, volatile affair that made headlines for years. Their love burned bright, but it also burned out fast, filled with clashes, breakups, and makeups. After Glenn, Tanya had several high-profile relationships and engagements, but she never made it to the altar. And that's exactly how she wanted it. Tanya once said she didn't need a piece of paper to prove love. Today, she looks back with no regrets. Her story isn't about lost love. It's about living boldly, loving deeply, and refusing to settle. Transition. But while Tanya chose freedom, one rising star's love story became a scandal that shocked Nashville. LeAnn Rimes, the scandal that rocked Nashville. LeAnn Rimes was America's sweetheart, a prodigy who conquered the charts as a teen. But in 2009, her image changed overnight when reports surfaced of an affair with co-star Eddie Cibrian. At the time, both were married to other people. The affair quickly became tabloid gold, painting LeAnn as a homewrecker. She faced intense backlash from fans, the media, even fellow artists. But what many didn't see was the deeper story. LeAnn later shared that her first marriage had been unraveling long before the affair. She and Eddie, both unhappy in their relationships, found connection in each other. Eventually, they divorced their spouses and married in 2011. More than a decade later, they're still together. Proof that love can grow from controversy. LeAnn's story is messy, complicated, and real, just like life. And while LeAnn's love story was played out in public, another star spent years hiding hers in the shadows. Chely Wright, Secrets in the Shadows. For years, Chely Wright lived 2 lives. On stage, she was a rising country star with hits and charm. Off stage, she carried a secret that nearly broke her. She was gay in an industry that didn't accept it. Shelley feared that coming out would destroy her career, so she hid her relationships and even dated men to keep up appearances. She briefly dated Brad Paisley, a relationship she later admitted was part of her cover. The pressure became unbearable. Shelley fell into deep depression, even contemplating ending her life. But in 2010, she made a courageous choice to live authentically. She came out publicly, becoming the first major country star to do so. Today, Shelley is married to Lauren Blitzer and raising twin sons. Her journey from fear to freedom is one of country music's most powerful transformations. But heartbreak doesn't always come from secrets. Sometimes, it's the end of a love you thought would last forever. Reba McEntire. When forever walked away. To millions, Reba McEntire is the definition of strength, a fiery redhead who turned tragedy into triumph. But even Reba, one of the most powerful women in country music, couldn't escape heartbreak. Reba married her first husband, Charlie Battles, when she was just starting her career. He was older, more experienced, and helped guide her early steps in the industry. But as Reba's fame skyrocketed, cracks began to show. She wanted to chase her dreams. He wanted a quieter life. Their paths drifted apart, and by 1987, Reba made the painful decision to walk away. Then came Narvel Blackstock, her guitarist and manager. Their partnership was more than love. It was a powerhouse duo that built Reba's empire together. They shared everything: business, family, and success. Fans saw them as Nashville royalty. But in 2015, after 26 years of marriage, the fairy tale ended. Reba admitted she didn't see the divorce coming. "It wasn't my idea," she revealed in an interview, hinting at heartbreak that ran deep. For someone who'd always been in control, this time, she had to let go. Yet, in true Reba fashion, she turned pain into power. She leaned on faith, family, and her work, proving that even when love ends, life doesn't. Years later, Reba found love again with actor Rex Linn, a longtime friend. Their bond, filled with laughter and respect, shows that sometimes love returns when you least expect it. Calmer, wiser, and real. Reba's story isn't about loss. It's about rebirth, the courage to rebuild when forever walks away. And while Reba rebuilt from the ashes, another country queen learned that love in the spotlight can burn twice as bright and twice as fast. Miranda Lambert, the phoenix of country love. Miranda Lambert's career has always been fueled by raw emotion, and her love life reflects every bit of that fiery passion. Her whirlwind romance with fellow country star Blake Shelton seemed like a dream come true. They were the golden couple of Nashville, two powerhouse singers, side by side on stage and off. In 2011, fans celebrated their star-studded wedding, convinced it would last forever. But fame is a heavy weight, and rumors began swirling of jealousy, distance, and trust issues. In 2015, the fairy tale crashed. The couple announced their divorce, shocking fans who thought they had it all. Miranda stayed silent on the details, but her songs told the story: heartbreak, betrayal, and rediscovering herself through the wreckage. Her album, The Weight of These Wings, became a diary of survival, filled with lyrics about loneliness and letting go. After the split, Miranda dated a few musicians, including Anderson East and Evan Felker, but love didn't stick. Then, out of nowhere, came a surprise twist: a New York police officer named Brendan McLaughlin. They met in 2018, and just a few months later, they secretly married. The announcement shocked fans, but Miranda didn't care. She had found peace away from the spotlight. Their marriage, built on privacy and mutual respect, shows she's learned to protect her heart and live for herself. Miranda's story is one of reinvention, proof that love can be messy, but it's worth fighting for when it feels real. But not every love story in country music is filled with fire. Some, like Carrie Underwood's, are built on quiet strength and faith. Carrie Underwood, Grace Through Trials. From her American Idol victory to global stardom, Carrie Underwood's life has looked picture perfect. But behind the bright lights, her love story is one of quiet endurance and deep faith. Carrie met NHL player Mike Fisher in 2008, and the two quickly became one of country's most admired couples. They married in 2010, combining two high-profile careers and a shared devotion to faith. But their journey hasn't been easy. Carrie opened up in 2018 about suffering multiple miscarriages, silent heartbreaks that nearly broke her. In interviews, she revealed crying out to God, questioning why her prayers weren't being answered. Through it all, she leaned on her faith and her husband's support. Eventually, their prayers were answered with two sons, Isaiah and Jacob. Despite their love, rumors of tension have surfaced over the years, long-distance strains, career pressures, and differing schedules. But Carrie has always stood firm, saying marriage is worth fighting for. Her story is one of grace under fire, proving that even when life looks perfect from the outside, everyone faces storms behind closed doors. What sets Carrie apart is how she walks through them, with faith, resilience, and gratitude. But long before Carrie's story, another queen faced storms of her own, torn between loyalty, love, and loneliness. Loretta Lynn, loyalty and loneliness. Loretta Lynn's marriage to Oliver Doolittle Lynn was as legendary as it was turbulent. Married at just 15, she entered a world of love, hardship, and constant struggle. Do was both her biggest supporter and her greatest challenge. He pushed her to chase music, bought her first guitar, and believed in her talent. But he also battled drinking and infidelity, leaving Loretta heartbroken more times than she could count. Yet she stayed. Through every fight and every affair, Loretta's loyalty never wavered. She turned her pain into powerful songs like "Don't Come Home A-Drinkin'" and "You Ain't Woman Enough," giving a voice to millions of women living the same struggles. In interviews, Loretta admitted their marriage wasn't perfect. It wasn't easy, but it was love. They stayed together for nearly 50 years until his passing in 1996. Her story is one of endurance, not fairy tale romance, but real love in all its flaws. Loretta showed that heartbreak can coexist with devotion, and strength doesn't always mean walking away. And for some, heartbreak became a turning point, a reason to choose independence and start again. Terri Clark, second chances and silent strength. Terri Clark has always been a straight shooter, in her songs and in life. But behind the confident stage presence is a woman who's weathered heartbreak with quiet dignity. Her first marriage to fiddle player Ted Stevenson ended in divorce after years of growing apart. Her second marriage to Greg Katzor, her tour manager, seemed stable, but it too ended after more than a decade. Terri later admitted that balancing music, fame, and personal life often felt impossible. After 2 divorces, she made a bold decision to stop chasing love and start focusing on herself. She poured her energy into music, family, and personal growth. She's spoken about finding peace and independence, saying she finally feels comfortable in her own skin. Terri's story isn't filled with scandals or headlines. It's about quiet resilience. She reminds us that strength isn't always loud, and that sometimes the bravest choice is to walk alone until you truly find peace. And that brings us to one truth shared by every country queen, that love, no matter how it ends, always leaves a story worth singing. From Shania's betrayal to Dolly's secret sorrows, Tammy's heartbreaks, and Miranda's fiery rebirths, these women have lived love in all its forms. They've been betrayed, celebrated, criticized, and adored, and through it all, they've turned pain into power. Their stories prove that fame doesn't shield the heart. Love, in Nashville, is just as messy, beautiful, and unpredictable as anywhere else. But maybe that's what makes their music so real. Every lyric carries a piece of their truth. So next time you hear their songs, listen closer. You might just hear the echoes of a love story the world never fully knew. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Which inspired you? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories behind country music's brightest stars. Because in the end, behind every hit song, there's a heart that's been broken and healed.